Welcome, everyone, to the Crypto News Show with myself, Dorian Batitska. Hello, hello, hello. And my co-host for the first week, Jason Derrick. Hello.
Hello.
And our guest this week, Phillip Lord from Oobit. Phillip has over 25 years experience working in global capital markets, banking, POS, everything that's going on with Oobit. Hello, Phillip.
Hey, nice to meet you all. Excited to be here today.
Yeah, thanks a lot for being on the Crypto News Show. So, first of all, let's start with Oobit. What's going on with Oobit? What's going on with point of sale, everything that you guys are doing with the Apple Pay of crypto?
Yeah, certainly. So Uber is a few years old. Basically, we make it for people easy for people to spend their crypto money, Visa, Mastercard, anywhere around the world. So you download the app, you put some crypto in. Like the next stage is for the company. You'll be able to connect your MetaMask and Trust Wallet, any of the Dex wallets is in there, and then you'll just be able to off ramp into Visa, Mastercard anywhere around the world. Just by connecting in your MetaMask. So if you don't trust us, and you don't want us to hold your crypto. So that's the next steps. That's coming out in a couple of weeks. That's like version 2 of our product. So a lot of people want to hold on to their crypto in their own decentralized wallets.
Yeah,
And then we have a step 3, which is basically you'll be able to also off ramp that into your bank account within 30 seconds. So, basically we want to be all things like making it easy for spend and put deposit. And also if you want to transfer money into your account, from your banking account into crypto, it'll just be a straight link. So again, in under 30 seconds. So
yeah,
we're
great.
just trying to speed up the
So,
infrastructure.
yeah, it seems like fintech is a really emerging space, even with Revolut now. Revolut has such an insane application. I've been using it for a while. You're able to trade crypto within it, use it as Apple Pay. They have a great premium section where you can get all sorts of perks. Are you guys looking into that kind of model where it's like a kind of like fintech for crypto? Like, are you guys trying to fill that space where like UX is obviously going to be an important aspect of this? Like, how are you guys like looking at that as a sort of like dynamic
Uh,
play?
Yeah, I think very similar markets. Obviously, Revolut's operational in UK and European markets, but we're looking outside of that. Our target markets are really kind of like markets like Brazil, Turkey, um, Indonesia, Philippines. Somewhere where the currency's deflating. And they predominantly use USDT as a mechanism of receiving and you know, uh, yeah. Money outside of their traditional currencies. Then they've got to off ramp it either into their bank account or into spending it on day-to-day transactions. So
Yeah, and what kind of like adoption are you guys seeing in terms of rates and adoption and what's growth like?
actually, we got too much adoption back in October. So our product went live in late August, and then just the numbers blew up. So we've had to give it a big upgrade. But yeah, it's growing super fast. It's live in Europe, but basically, I think we should be live in Brazil next week, if not coming weeks. And then we're just rolling it out globally as quickly as possible.
And you
So
mentioned USDT. Is that the sort of predominant trade that's
yeah, look.
happening?
We take out every currency, whether it's Bitcoin, whether it's Solana, whether it's dog with hat. But most people are spending USDT or USDC. So plus they're a major investor. They invested $25 million into our company. So we have a bias towards Tether.
Oh, great. Must be nice to get $25 million from old Tether there.
Yeah.
Where do you see the sort of market dynamic with 2025? We have Trump, we have the inauguration next week. Are you sort of bullish, bearish? Where do you see the overall market in terms of trends
Yeah,
and
I think everybody in crypto is bullish, but it's nice to have a president that looks at the S&P and looks at the Bitcoin price, daily and basically looks at that as his barometer for popularity. So I think, this time is different. He has calmed down the tweets and, you know, um, yeah, been not so vindictive, I would say, was it? So it's just about doing America a good job. I think the team is obviously amazing. We've got Elon, we've got David Sachs running crypto and AI, um, and then Jody Vance and Chamath. So I think I mean, what a time! And not forgetting RFK, we met RFK, amazing guy. You know. I think it's just going to be an unbelievable time. I think we're going to see, you know,
what
um,
about in Europe with Mika and everything that's going on in Europe? What's your sense? Does
Yeah,
Europe need to
so
play catch up to the U.S. in terms of like what's going to be coming in with changes in the U.S.? Is Europe overburdened by regulatory constraints? What about
yeah.
what? Yeah.
I don't think politics, my personal take on that, I don't think politics are very efficient, for anyone, let alone having two layers of them like they have in Europe. So, I think Europe just keeps continue to fall behind. I think, US is on a rocket launch, way above everybody else, maybe India, China catch up, but like Europe's just, still deciding some wrong policies, and they're not pro-business, it's very fragmented and leaders only last like 2 to 4 years anyway, so it's tough to get stuff done there.
I just jump in. I've been quiet
Yeah.
so far, and I know my daughter is going to want to watch this, and she's wondering how come I haven't spoken yet. But I'm just wondering, you mentioned before that Trump is looking at the S&P, he's looking at Bitcoin. I'm assuming he's not really looking at Europe. So how important is the European market to the bullish narrative on Bitcoin? Is there a lot of activity out of Europe that's been pushing up the
So
price, or if the whole crypto universe would disappear in Europe, no one would even know?
yeah, I don't think it makes a dent. I mean, look, I don't know, what is it like in the investment thesis, probably like 15-20% of a portfolio. Like, of course it makes a dent, but somebody like India or China coming back on could actually, be far more impactful, I think, UK is actually overburdened with regulation, but, we have a poor government here, as well. So I don't see any
What
reason to
what
invest
what
there.
what about other markets like the Emirates, the
Yeah.
UAE? I mean, where are you guys looking at to for growth in 2025?
Yeah, I think it's obviously countries. Although Emirates is small, it's seven million people, but it's very diverse. So we're actually applied for our licenses that come out last week, and that'll give us a diverse pool of people because if you can onboard people with an Emirates ID, they can come from anywhere. Whereas you've got to go individual country by country. So our target markets are like really like South America's a big one for us. They use a lot of dollar, dollar denomination currencies, whether it's USDT, also like Indonesia, Philippines, Japan. Japan's currency's been very weak over the past 2 to 5 years. They use a lot of USDT, Korea. So,
What kind
countries where,
what kind of yield are you guys offering in terms of your for the different accounts?
yeah, we're not doing any yield. We're just making it easy to people to spend or deposit. That's it.
So it's
So just pure payment. Yeah, we
payments,
keep it
payments.
simple.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt, no doubt. And now in terms of like payments, what are some of the security risks that come along with kind of having that kind of POS system? I mean, like, how do you guys account for different, like system attacks that could happen? I mean, there's always that risk when you're dealing with transactions and customer data. How do you guys account for that?
Yeah, I mean, we have a very good team. There's 49 people in Tel Aviv, and extreme, security trained people there. So, we've got a good team in the background. We use Fireblocks as well. I would thoroughly recommend them to any other people starting this business. Um, and a lot of our transactions are small, I would say. They're $5 to $500 when people are spending them. We're in the everyday transaction business, so we don't have a huge amount of risk, in terms of those transactions getting hacked. With the new business coming in, it's obviously tight. So on the payments to your bank accounts. So, but you've always got to be very vigilant.
Yeah. And in terms of revenue, like, are you guys, how are you guys like, making money
So
off of these transactions?
so we charge a transaction fee every time you use it. So we're basically an off-ramp fee.
And
So.
marketing the bank and getting clients and users. How are you guys like? You mentioned the polo event in Dubai, and what are some of the other activities you guys are doing?
So Yeah, we have a great team doing like TikTok style videos. We use a bunch of KOLs as well. Like we did one with my tech CEO, and that drives a lot of traffic. I like the stance of like making it more fun and day-to-day living experience. But there's a great team in Tel Aviv, building out a lot of content strategy. I think the next thing that we're looking at right now is like also if you look at autonomous AI agents, this is obviously going to be a massive theme for the year. There's a lot of hype in the space, but we've found good teams teams where we can build autonomous AI agents to drive traffic in. And so like think about it as like influencers driving in traffic into our own business, you know. And I think, you know, we're pretty sharp on this technology. We've been beta testing it for 2 months. I think, you know, within 6 months, you know, you'll see a lot more people. The power of the influence will be less. You know, there'll be a lot more content and social media strategy really by just complete AI agents, you know. So we want to be on top of that because that will lower our cost of user acquisition costs.
Hmm.
Yeah, I had a question. I
Fascinating.
just want to go back a bit. You mentioned you have a presence in, I think, Japan, Brazil, Turkey. Are you specifically targeting countries where the currency has been deflated?
Yeah, 100%. We're not live there yet, but you know, we're going to be live in coming weeks in those countries. Yeah. Look, I mean, it's just a lot of obvious user acquisition because, you know, they've got you know, maybe a lot of their, yes, human capital there is earning money outside of the country in US dollars, you know, and, you know, basically, they want to be able to spend it, you know.
Are you
Hmm.
also in Argentina?
It will be live coming weeks.
Has the use case in Argentina changed over the past few weeks?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's a good point. I mean, obviously they have an amazing prime minister down there, you know, who's turned around the economy. You know, we'll see, but you know, still a lot of people, you know, trust US dollar. I mean, if you had to think about, you know, Tether and you know, these stable currencies, you know, they serve a great purpose for the US government. You know, they keep dollar dominance. They track and trace, you know, movement of currency a lot better than, you know, physical cash. You know, and then you know they buy treasury
But
bonds.
doesn't that go against the original ethos of crypto in the sense that like dollar dominance being one of the central pillars of the original Bitcoin use case in the wake of the financial crisis in 2008? I mean, as far as I understood crypto was that having that was a really important pillar of the original ethos of crypto. So what are your thoughts on US dollar dominance and sort of the future of money? Is it that crypto has lost its original core philosophy, or has it just adopted to sort of the dominant structures that one cannot just ignore?
Yeah, like I hear you on this. Was it you know, and Bitcoin's thesis is obviously different, you know, and it served a purpose, but maybe it wasn't meant to you know, sort of compete against the US dollar. It was more meant to compete against you know, gold as a safe store of wealth, you know, and the ability to transport it instantaneously, you know, independent of the banking system. So, you know, like I would say 70% of it stays in its core, you know, with those two narratives. But, you know, you can't beat that US dollar dominance, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, Nick Carter famously, describes Operation Choke Point and the ability of different governments to sort of like control the tap of crypto and using different bodies like the SEC to sort of control that supply. Do you think things will change under Trump?
I mean, you know, one job, USA, that's it, right? You know, so, you know, I think if you're on that side of the fence, you're fine, you know. But, you know, I would imagine that he's gonna, you know, probably target anybody that puts their head up outside of the US, you know, that looks like a threat, you know. So, I mean, we're seeing it with the TikTok ban as we go in right now. But, you know, I think you know, it's going to be an exciting time, but you know, you probably want to invest, you know, a lot of your portfolio in US related companies or US benefited, you know, benefactor companies.
Well, speaking of some of those other plays, like let's look at like the tangential Trump crypto play. Like, what are some of those like other companies? Let's say maybe on the S&P or on the Nasdaq that you are sort of like looking at, whether it's a Bitcoin miner or a MicroStrategy. Like, where do you see these other kind of like opportunities with Trump?
I think, look, you know, in the past 4 years, we've just been in a big seven. Obviously, the SPAC boom like got, you know, crushed. You know, so the big seven have dominated Nvidia, Amazon, Facebook, etc. Right. So the capital markets have been effectively shut for the past 4 years. Right. So you know, and obviously that coincides with like you know the hiking of interest rates. Interest rates are coming back down now. I think we're going to see the small mid cap market open for business. You know, I've got friends. You know, I was an investment banker for 20 years. I got friends phoning me up every day, like saying, "Hey, this industry that I didn't believe you in, 4 or 5 years ago, right? Tell me any companies that make 50 million bucks EBITDA and above. I want to list them this year." So that capital markets is wide open. Obviously, if you're going through the IPO process, you got to get audits, you got to get legals. It's going to take you 8 to 9 months. But I think what you'll see is a hell of a lot of crypto companies, you know, um, be listed in Nasdaq and S&P, in 9 months to 18 months, and I think it would be a lot more investable. MicroStrategy trades at big premium. You got the ETFs, you got some miners, but they're not like the most exciting businesses. So I think there's going to be a lot of companies come to market.
Yeah,
Let me ask
and with Oobit, are you guys looking at different deals like in the deal making space? Like where is Oobit at in terms of like the VC landscape and things going forward and also?
Um, we're about like user acquisition growth, just getting that product in as many global hands as possible. If we see some, distressed opportunities, related to where we could grow our business either through, like, a company that's got a lot of wallet users and we can pick them up cheap, or we can buy licenses, and convert them into the top code. That would be ideal. But, we're not like actively looking, but if the right deal comes along, we'll look. On a personal level, I think, there's a lot of companies like, dare I say, like Animoca, they're a conglomerate of multiple, different related businesses in the crypto space. They're primed for an IPO. So if you could pick some of them up, 50% discount to
I
last.
I heard CryptoPunks is selling their IP again, or
There you go.
Yuga Labs I think had it, and I think they're trying to deacquisition it somehow. Sorry, Jason, I
Yeah.
interrupted you though. Uh,
Yeah, yeah. You mentioned you expect to see a bunch of companies file for IPOs, but what would motivate them to do it? Is it just easier access to capital? Because I don't think there's any shortage of VC capital looking to jump in at this point, and going the IPO route just complicates the whole business model.
Yeah, look, I agree. Was it, but yeah, that bigger capital, like there is obviously VC cash in there, but I don't think we've seen major. It's still not as easy as you think. If you want to raise like, circa 100 to 500 million bucks out of the VC market in crypto, it's going to be tough, right? There's probably a sprinkling of funds that can do C round, growth stage, up funding. Whereas like capital markets, there's a multitude of institutions. And look, MicroStrategy trades at a massive premium. There's like 20, 30 companies out there listed in Nasdaq,
Yeah,
whereas there's
but
a load in the private.
about that premium, what's up with that? I mean, doesn't it seem like, in a way, like shorting MicroStrategy and longing Bitcoin would be the smart play on that? Because like, given that premium, like, I mean, what are your thoughts on MicroStrategy? Quickly.
I mean, like, do you want to short, Tesla and go long Mercedes Benz? The promoter is worth a lot more, right?
Mm,
He can get 80 times EBITDA,
mm,
So I think, yeah, Michael Saylor is an incredible investor, and but also he's opportunistic on the media as well.
yeah, what an amazing sort of arc he's had. Um,
Yeah.
Is he a good investor, or he just got the timing right?
No, I think he's a good investor as well, and he's leveraging up as well, you know. But you know, you got your horse in the race, and he's backing it all the way home. And he's got a bigger thesis about this. He's going to burn his own keys,
yeah, that
as well.
that
I mean,
that's insane. That's insane, right? The burning of the young keys.
yeah.
That's just such a wild
I
Philip
don't think
Lord.
it's going to make a dent for him if he's got 1 billion or 10 billion, right, or 20 billion, right?
Yeah,
It's about the thesis of Bitcoin and like, doing
yeah.
something. So.
When is the polo match in Dubai?
So we have that. We had it in Palm Beach, yeah, a few years ago at Bitcoin Miami. That was really good fun, and we replicated it last year at Token 2049. So I think, yeah, Token 2049 is on the Wednesday, Thursday, and then the Saturday we put the polo match on. It's you know, it's a great way to bring the community together. It's something different. You
Of
know,
course.
crypto needs money. You know, and you know, there's a lot of billionaires that would like to invest in crypto. You know, so that's the way. And we invite all the top VCs, and yeah, people get deals down there, but just in a different type of environment. You know.
Absolutely, absolutely. Under the auspices of Oobit and everything pay
Yeah,
on crypto. So you guys
yeah,
bring
that's it.
the whole circus together in that way.
Yeah.
Um, Great. Thanks a lot for taking the time and explaining to us, everything that's going on with
Thank you
Oobit.
so much.
I think it's a really important aspect of the crypto ecosystem, especially when it comes to just interfacing with noobs and people who are just trying to use crypto to buy a coffee or whatever. It's a really important part of the chain. So yeah, really, everyone, Ubit, check it out, use
Thank you
it,
so much.
Thanks for
and
coming on.
thank
Thank
you,
you very
Philip
much.
Lord. Have a
Cool.
great, have
Thank
a
you so
great day.
much.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.